Your kids could get free or low-cost health coverage from Medicaid or CHIP. Even if you've applied before, they may be eligible now. Kids up to age 19 are covered for checkups, vaccines, dentist visits, hospital care, and more. And if they already have Medicaid or CHIP, remember to renew every year. Visit insurekidsnow.gov or call 877-KIDS-NOW. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Welcome to the Dateable AF podcast, because women dating women is wild, wonderful, and occasionally a disaster. I'm your host, Dr. Sarah Kyle, a therapist in private practice.
And I'm your co-host, Rachel Howell, researcher extraordinaire.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Season 2, Episode 7 of the Dateable AF podcast. This week, we are talking about the grass isn't greener, it's just filtered. How social media comparison poisons love lives and what to do about it. So, Rachel, have you ever scrolled through Instagram and you suddenly feel like your relationship is the only one not taking sunrise yoga selfies on a cliff in Bali?
Oh my God.
I have learned from people in my therapy office that most of these couples argued about the directions on how to get there to the sunrise on the cliff in Bali. So it's not quite as perfect as it looks.
I'm fascinated with this topic because I just am surprised that people don't realize that people are not going to post their shit most of the time unless they're crazy. They're posting their highlight reels.
Yes, this is so true. And what I will say, as far as the crazy people that are posting the real things, if you busted up your toe with a brick, do not take a picture of that and put it on social media. No one wants to see your busted toe.
I don't know, though. There are these weird obsessions about yucky things that people do, and sometimes I have a hard time turning away. I get caught in it.
Other site for that. Like, you got to go to some weird part of the internet to look at that stuff. Don't put it on your Instagram. Yeah, but I literally think that, yes, 90% of what we see on social media is not real. It's highly, highly filtered. It's the highlight reel, as you said.
Yeah, and there are people posting on there that are, we certainly know people that take a million vacations a year, and they're retired and they spend a lot of their lucky lives in some of those situations. But otherwise, you have the person who's taking their one vacation for the year and they're posting it, all the highlights of that. And you're sitting over there at home thinking, oh, I have a sad life. Well, probably just after you went on a damn vacation.
Yep. It's so true that social media makes everybody's love life look shinier and easier and more romantic. You see all the romantic things that someone got. They got flowers, they got a cake with their name on it. But the truth is, nobody's real life looks like their Instagram account. I'm here to vouch for it, y'all. As a therapist, nobody's real life looks like their Instagram account.
Sarah was telling me earlier that she makes a living off this topic.
I do. I put several of my kids through college based on people trauma over social media. It's true. It is true.
Oh my God. I was fascinated and just reading more about this. I certainly am aware of it. And I think we all love keeping up with what people are doing and thinking, wow, that looks great. And that looks like a fun place to go. And that's the good part of it. But if you are one of these people where you look at it and you think, oh my God, their life is just great. I'm thinking they may have just had a bitch argument with each other.
Yep.
10 minutes before they put that post up.
Yep. It is true. And I think about this, that Joe and I don't fight a ton. But one time we got in literally one of the worst fights we've ever had in our relationship. And we had already bought tickets to go to the ice cream museum. And I don't know if y'all have been there, but basically the whole purpose of the ice cream museum is to take selfies. And so we have a million pictures of us like in the ice cream museum looking so cute. And every time I see those pictures, I'm like, oh, I really wanted to like smother her with a pillow during that.
Yep. Perfect.
Yep.
Perfect
So that
example.
just goes to show you that it's not always what it seems.
Oh, and if y'all didn't listen to the last episode, sorry, not sorry. I mean, if social media and selfies had been in play when I was on that ski lift with that girl that I broke up with on the ski lift, I probably would have been taking some beautiful selfies.
Yeah.
And posting those while I had my other arm around the thing, hoping that
hanging on,
throw me off.
Push you off the lift. I know. True. Yes, we were fortunate enough to grow up and make all of our big mistakes before social media happened. So there's no record of it. Maybe on somebody's instant camera somewhere, but
that's right. Sarah and I might actually be of a generation where we could still get a job with the FBI or the CIA, but the rest of you guys out there, y'all are screwed. Y'all showing yourselves too much out there.
It is true. It's true. Well, I want to talk a little bit about the phrase that you threw out there about the highlight reel. So if we're talking about what the definition of a highlight reel is, social media, so whether that's Facebook, Instagram, Reddit, whatever you're on, it's designed to showcase your best self. It is designed to showcase your most polished moments, your most curated vacation scenes, your most joyful times, like all the things that are going to make other people envy you, because that's why we do it. So people post these photos of their date nights, of their vacations, when they're wearing these cute little matching pajamas, when someone gives them a surprise gift. Nobody's posting pictures of the awkward silences of a second date, or people who are under financial stress, or, petty arguments like the one that Joe and I had right before the ice cream museum. So we're seeing only the best tiny moments of someone's life, but we create a story that's what their whole life looks like.
I was interested in this from a research standpoint because of sort of the psychology behind our natural tendencies to do that. Mm-hmm. Is that we do have a natural tendency to compare. And as I was doing the research on it, the differences, it was very interesting, the differences between the people who compare in a positive way versus people's comparison that's negative.
Yeah.
So there's a level of comparison, and there's definitely, I'm sure you're familiar with this ASCI, the Attitudes Towards Social Comparison Inventory, but this inventory that they use as a baseline, I think there are like maybe 12 indicators that go with this, but it was very interesting because those indicators were looking at both the things that the type of person that looks at comparisons, and it's a positive thing where you say it's motivational. Let's just say that I'm looking at my good friends and they're working really hard and financially they're doing well, and I kind of look at the way they're leading their lives and the priority they put on their time and that effort. Then I might look at that and go, if I want more financial freedom, then I think I may need to work a little harder and I may need to prioritize my time differently. That's more of a positive comparison that we naturally do versus the stuff you were talking about where you're looking at people's shiny objects and you're looking at it based on what you think you don't have and that they do have. And that comparison falls into the negative bucket.
Yeah. And I can imagine that would take a toll on your mental health. If you think everyone else's life looks like their Instagram and you know that your life doesn't look like that, that seems like it would be really hard.
The research definitely shows that it is. The other thing that was interesting in that is they were able to sort of isolate this low self-esteem. People with low self-esteem tend to spend more time looking for those comparisons. And that the more they struggle, the deeper they go into it.
I think say that.
Yeah, I think for our audience, that's something to really pay attention to is that even if you don't have low self-esteem, but let's just say that maybe you're going through a tough time, you're kind of seeking, I don't know, maybe validation or whatever you're looking for. With the age of computers and social media, and we are all on Facebook or Instagram or whatever, Threads, that if you find yourself on there when you are in a down space and you're trying to get something from it to fill that space, I'm thinking that might not be a very good place to be. I'll refer to Dr. Kyle about that, but I think that's probably a vortex you don't want to go down.
Absolutely. And those of you who know me or have even listened to our podcast enough know that I think we should spend minimal time on screens and on social media because it doesn't actually make our lives better. It throws us into the spiral of comparison, and you never get off of a 2-hour TikTok binge and say, man, I'm so glad I did that. Or I wish I had spent 1 more hour doing that. Compared to you go work out or you go on a walk outside, you're never sad you did that. You're never like, oh, why did I go on that walk?
Yeah.
So I think that spending less time on social media would be good for all of our mental health. I want to give a shout out, and I'll put a link to this in our show notes, but there's a creator that I do not know personally. I have just run across her on Instagram, and her name is Danae Mercer. It's spelled Danae Mercer, Mercer. And she is this woman who I think she actually started out just as an influencer, maybe some kind of influencer. But what she's doing now is she's showing herself like in a bikini on the beach, angling herself and posing and fixing her bathing suit a certain way so that she looks a very particular way. And then she turns to a different angle and she jumps up and down and she shows you that her legs have cellulite and her, she doesn't have a perfect body. And it's so interesting because she literally shows you in a flash, like, this is me. And 5 seconds later, this is also me. And she'll do like a before and after, like, let's say it's for a diet. She'll take a before picture where she's standing there wearing a slouchy outfit with her stomach all pooched out. And then literally minutes later, she changes clothes, she sucks her stomach in and takes a picture. And that's the after. And she's like, no one who's doing this online is real. And it's so refreshing because we get this idea that these people who look perfect on social media are actually perfect, and they're not. They have cellulite just like the rest of us. And they, they're filtering that stuff, or they're angling themselves or fixing their clothing to present a certain image. And it's just not real.
Well, and that's not even with airbrushing and
no
AI input. I mean, that's just
lighting, angling your camera, wearing certain clothing. Right. Absolutely. So no, this isn't photoshopping something. This is literally just choosing how you show yourself. And if you compare that to what people show as far as their relationships, it's a very similar thing. You're not going to take a picture of you and your partner, crabbing at each other. Yeah.
Right. I mean, crazy people might, but no, you're not. And that, again, is why we're in this great challenge with people trying to app date and all of this stuff that can come into play there, the filters, just because it's on an app, all these things, and why it's really important to get in real life as soon as possible. And one thing I found when I was doing the research that I really liked, and just kind of thinking about it as a baseline way to think about where you are emotionally when you start making those comparisons, is that people typically, they put them into 3 categories of comparison. There's people who upward compare.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's just if you feel like to give an example about, let's say you think you're pretty attractive and that you're comparing yourself to somebody else that you think is as attractive or more attractive than you are, but you're still feeling attractive. Mm-hmm. Then there's lateral comparisons, which is just somebody that you feel like you're on the same level with. So you're comparing, let's just say, yeah, it looks like, I could afford to take that vacation. I mean, that's about the kind of vacation I would take. Mm-hmm. That's a lateral comparison. And then there's a downward comparison where you assume that someone is below you or you're below them.
Okay.
And I think that when you're just looking at things through a lens of trying to see how you fit compared to other people's lives, whether it be in partnership, whether you think they have a great looking girlfriend, great looking boyfriend, whatever that is that you think about, I think it'd be pretty interesting if you just tried on. Like, is this an upward comparison? Am I feeling good about that? Am I laterally kind of comparing myself so it is sort of an equal playing field, or am I down comparing? Like, I'm looking at this, and to our point, it makes me feel like I'm not enough, or my boyfriend's not cute enough, or my girlfriend's not hot enough, or my vacation's not sexy enough.
Yeah. Yep. That makes sense. And so if you're doing a lot of comparison, you're probably not on a great track. I mean, maybe if it is aspirational, like you said, like, oh, that person looks really fit, maybe I should work out more. Maybe that's okay. I think that's probably not how it happens most often. I think it ends up, in people not feeling great about themselves when they're making that comparison.
I think so too. I would absolutely bet that the numbers would show you that most people, the comparisons they're doing are either lateral or downward, really, probably.
Yeah.
And that's not good.
I think so too. And it's just so important to remember that what we don't see on social media is anything that's messy. We don't see the disagreements that people are having with their partners. We don't see the nights where somebody actually slept on the couch, or kind of those mundane daily routines that make up most of our real lives. And every single couple has conflict, and every single couple has dull moments. Those are not the things that are going to make the Instagram feed.
The other part of this that's tricky in thinking about dating is also what you're trying to do is figure out not just looks, but fit. We're always talking about fit, the right match, the right fit. And in my conversations, I've had some fascinating conversations with people I know who are single, who are trying to figure out the dating thing. And we've talked about red flags and all of that. And I oftentimes find that if I talk about what I'm drawn to, or what I like, or what didn't work out for me in my dating cycle, that sometimes people reflect back that conversation to me as they begin to explore their own dating journey. And in some ways that can be good, because those can potentially be good comparison, meaning like, hey, they got real drunk and threw up in my car, and I don't want to date anybody like that. And if they say, yeah, I don't want to either, then it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
for sure. Raise your standards.
Right. But if I say, I really love to, I prefer to go do X, Y, and Z and listen to live music in a small venue versus going over here where there are 10,000 people. If you're comparing and making decisions about your dating life based on, oh, well, maybe I should do that too. I'm like, no.
You do you.
Do you. Figure out what it is. I mean, so much of this, it goes back to you really understanding you, and stop measuring yourself up against what you think other people are doing.
Yep, that's true. And just always remembering that you're only seeing one side, and there's always another side.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't know what that is, because that's not what's getting shown online. So, for example, you're seeing someone's fabulous vacation. You don't know if they have a gajillion dollars and they paid cash for that vacation, or maybe they took on a lot of debt that's going to stress them out for the next 2 years because they're trying to pay off the vacation. You don't know those things. What you do is you look at it and think, oh gosh, I could never afford a vacation like that. But maybe what you really mean is, I'm not willing to go into debt to take a vacation like that. So just remember, what you're seeing isn't the whole story.
Now, when they break up, you'll find out what the bad stuff is. Because then talk about it. Let me just tell you, it's all roses until you break up, and then they're going to talk about you.
That bitch is crazy.
Did some crazy ass shit.
You know how many times I've heard that line? I'm like, why did you marry her if she was that crazy? It's like, you're talking about yourself when you say things like that, friend.
It's hard out there. It's harsh. So you just try to figure it out. Landmines everywhere.
Yep, but what you say is, she wasn't for me.
She was.
It's not for me.
I don't care for it. Thank you.
I don't care for it. Thank you. That's always a polite way to say it. Didn't care for her. Mm-hmm. That's all you gotta say.
Wasn't my favorite.
Wasn't my favorite.
I've had a few of those. It wasn't my favorite.
My favorite. Gave it a try. Gave it a no thank you helping.
I won't say exactly how much of a helping, but yeah.
Exactly. If you've got a whole plate of that and then you decide you didn't like it, that's on you.
Oh my God.
Oh my goodness.
So why is this such a problem?
I think it's a problem for a few different reasons. One, social media has become so ubiquitous. It is everywhere, and so many people are on it. And people aren't realizing that they're just getting exposed to the highlight reel. So what it creates is this distorted reality where we think other people have perfect lives. And I think if you're single, you look at people's highlight reels and you assume that everybody else is easily finding love. People, oh gosh, I have single clients who come in my office and say that. How come everyone else is finding dates and I'm not? I'm like, no, girl, they are not. I know, because they're coming in my office and they're saying the same thing you're saying. Don't worry. And if you're in a couple, I think that you start to believe that your relationship is somehow inadequate because it doesn't look like the ones that you see online. Maybe your partner's not bringing you a big old diamond ring or not surprising you with a giant, bouquet of roses on Valentine's Day or, whatever it is. But all of these things just lead to insecurity and resentment and even pressure to make your relationship look like the others that you see on Instagram rather than really trying to nurture your relationship and have a better connection with your partner.
Do you think that there are any couples out there that hang out with their single friend and look at it and go, wow, I'm so jealous that I don't have that sexy life that they have?
Yes, 100%. People think, wow, if I was just single, I'd be having a great time right now. Or if I was just married, I'd be having a great time right now. And the truth is, y'all, that is not what makes you happy. You got to get happy first. But we're out there comparing to everything that we're seeing on the gram, and it just makes you miserable.
Well, this is telling on me, Sarah and Joe being my triple friend, sexless double friend. That every time they engage with me around this, they look at me and they both go, God, I don't want to be single. I'm gonna, Joe, please don't ever leave me. Joe's like, if Sarah leaves me, I'm killing myself.
Don't throw me out there to the wolves, y'all. Mm-mm. You're just not making it look sexy enough on your Instagram reel. That's the problem.
Obviously not. In real life, y'all are seeing it.
They're seeing all the messy parts.
You're running from it like the plague.
It's not pretty out there.
Oh, Lord, have mercy.
This is true. On that note, we were out, not just with our throuple, but we were out on Saturday night at this event. And I had a plate that I had eaten some food and I was about to throw my plate away. And I walked past Rachel at this event. And let me back up. After I finished my food, someone else at the event dropped a grape on the floor. And she was debating what to do with it. And I said, oh, just put it on my plate. I'm about to throw my plate away. So she puts this one sad little grape on my plate. And I'm walking to the trash can. And I say to Rachel, do you know where the trash is? And she snatches that grape off my plate and puts it in her mouth, y'all. And as she's doing it, I'm terrified. And I start saying, no.
I snatched that grape out of her mouth like, oh, look, like it was a poison tonic or something.
I feel that the grape made it all the way into her mouth before she heard me say no and took it out. But I feel that there are a few different lessons in this. Number one, do not snatch food off someone's plate unless you have inquired about it first.
Well, and the other thing that happened there, I will tell you, is that Sarah, she had on a dress. She melted like the Wicked Witch of the West on the floor.
I was trying not to see my pants
so she wouldn't pee in her pants. I looked over and she was like that scene in Bridesmaids where she's shitting in the street in the bridesmaid dress. Sarah was on the ground like that. Oh, it was
funny, y'all. Anyway, sorry that I digressed for a moment, but anyway, what are we talking about?
One. Oh my God.
Oh, no.
Well, I'm thinking about an analogy to drive home. So, like, do we have a good analogy for, like, watching the trailer of a movie, exciting, fun, dramatic, but if you sat through the full film, you didn't see the boring or messy filter scenes. That's a great analogy. Just realizing that there's a reason they edit and cut things out.
Yeah, but they want to show you the best parts of that movie so that you want to go see it. It's the same thing on social media. That if you just think of social media as like the trailer for someone's life, it's like the part where they're trying to suck you in, but you're not seeing the slow parts. So remember that real life is the full movie, y'all, not just the trailer.
Right. The good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah. And as Rachel said, the research shows that when you're able to recognize the difference between those highlight reels and then the behind the scenes realities, you are really protecting your own confidence and you're protecting your own relationship. So instead of asking yourself, like, how come my life doesn't look like that? You just reframe it and remind yourself that everybody has those behind the scenes moments that they're not posting on Instagram. And so your life is not that different from other people's.
It's just good rule of thumb too. Don't look for your benchmark, your measure, just really shouldn't come from social media, people. Not. It's why dating apps don't work well, because people are looking at a bunch of information that sometimes just isn't true. People are posting pictures of themselves when they were 25 years younger, which I really, again, just don't understand that, because eventually if you're going to meet them, they're going to see that you're, 95 and 45. I mean, all of that
all the time. If people are posting pictures of themselves 20 years ago and 20 pounds ago, and you're like, no, friend, what are they going to think when they see the real you? This is not a good idea. You should show the worst picture of yourself, and then they're pleasantly surprised when they meet you in person. Not really, but I mean,
personally,
I'm
not very photogenic, so I'm a lot cuter in person than I am on my social media posts.
Absolutely.
I never get my good side.
Which one is your good side?
I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe not that one because of my chin. Maybe.
So if y'all see Rachel on the cover of our podcast, she's way cuter than that. Don't worry.
Thank you. Thank you, Sarah, for that.
I think you look real cute on our podcast cover.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So what's the jealousy trap?
So I think it's what you talked about, that the jealousy trap is just the social media fueling this insecurity that people have, and also suspicion. Oh my God, we could have a whole separate episode about this, but you're dating and you wonder why your date doesn't post you in their social media feed. Well, you posted pictures of yourself, but why won't you post any of the ones with me? Or you see them in a picture with someone else and you don't know who that person is, so you start to get jealous. And man, so many insecurities that people have about this, and so much jealousy. Jealousy also, you see a picture of your friends and they're at a party that you didn't get invited to, or, a couple that, maybe two of your couple friends went out together and they didn't include you. So yeah, it just fuels jealousy.
Again, those are things that we didn't have to deal with to the same degree when we were out doing crazy things. And sometimes we were doing those things that were.
Yeah, we would just tell people don't tell them about the party because I didn't invite them.
Exactly.
Or it's not going to be a picture of it later.
Don't tell them I went home with her. Tell them.
That's right. Nobody's posting that on their social media back then. So
no, and then you go up early and you hand them their purses. They sneak out.
Yeah, that's right.
And nobody has phones back then taking pictures, so
doing the walk of shame down the sidewalk. Carrying your high heels.
Yeah, I do have a few of those memories. Yes.
Oh God. I think that there are so many red flags that you can see if you're someone who's dating, especially someone who is constantly checking their ex's dating profiles. Oh my God. This is one of my pet peeves, as you guys have known. If you are constantly checking anyone's profile, please go talk to your therapist about this. This is not healthy. I can't tell you, and I know I've talked about it on the pod before, but people will come in and say, I'm dating someone, they just got 3 new followers and I don't know who they are.
Oh.
Are you kidding me? Why do you even know how many followers you have, let alone how many followers someone has that you're dating? That's ridiculous. And you're always, you're comparing your partner's affection for you to someone else's posts, like what they're posting on Instagram. So these things are big red flags. If you see them in yourself, you got to check yourself and figure out how to break that pattern, because you should not be constantly looking at anyone's Instagram story or their profile or their Facebook. No, don't do that.
Yeah, that's crazy town.
It is crazy town. And it is, I know this is shocking, but it is the norm. People, mostly younger than we are, I will say. I don't know that so many, I think a lot of people our age rarely check their social media, but younger folks are doing this all the time. They are looking, they're seeing who likes their story, who's following them, who's following someone else, and who's mutual friends, and it's really a lot.
Come on, guys. Just go back to the good old days where you just do drive-bys. Somebody's, you drive by their house, creep by, and sometimes you park a couple of blocks away and you creep up to see if you can peek in the window.
Oh my God, Rachel Howell, you're killing me here.
Well, I will say, I have not
done that, y'all.
I know. What we're talking about is just another version of that.
Yeah. So if you thought that sounded crazy, then you're right. It is crazy, and you're doing the same thing, but you're just doing the social media version of it.
Yes, you're peeping.
You would never dream about peeping through someone's window. You wouldn't do it. I hope, for the love of God.
I had a Monique in my life that did one time. She creeped on me.
I have to say, I have done drive-bys before. I have never gotten out of my car. I've done a very fast drive-by, hoping nobody was looking out the window.
That still counts.
It does, for sure. It was crazy.
Yep. But that is it. It is the same thing. And this other thing about pressure to perform your relationship online. Also, I think I've seen stuff online where I know people are sort of flaunting the relationship. Yeah. And I think that's another thing to be aware of. One is, if you know that there's another person out there that could be hurt by that, think about that.
Yeah, don't do that.
And hopefully one of you in that coupleship grabs some sanity and says, I'm not interested in putting this out there this way because it's going to hurt somebody.
Yeah, for sure. And even if you're just putting it out there to be performative so that it can be sort of a look at me, and I think that there can be really sweet posts, like really sweet moments where you might post you and your partner. But if you're doing it to say, wow, look how great our relationship is, then you're doing it for the wrong reasons. So just check yourself before you post. Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, no, you go.
Well, I had a question about that because I actually had a situation come up like that a while back, a long time ago.
When you
and
Monique?
Yeah. Could have been either one. I don't remember exactly. But there was this, I had to sort of grapple with the fact that I was going somewhere where we would be taking pictures, we'd be around other people. Somebody else was going to take a picture, I knew, and that there was going to be a post online eventually. And you don't really have control over all of that. And so I had to make some decisions about that. And my decision was just to tell the person up front what I was doing. To just say, the other party that potentially could be hurt, just saying,
Oh,
hey, I'm doing this thing.
I'm going to be at this event. You might see a picture of me at it. I
Right.
hope it doesn't hurt your feelings.
Right. I'm going to be there, and this can come up on social media and is not my intention, but just to let you know that this is happening.
Yeah,
So,
I think that's a great idea. Then you're just being honest and they can deal with it how they want to deal with it. But it's not, you're not doing it to flaunt something, or you're not also trying to hide something. That doesn't feel good either.
right. Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about what you can do. So how can we get this better? So I would say the first thing that you can do is curate your social media feed so that you are unfollowing the accounts that trigger comparison. So if you are, let's say, a body-focused person and you're following a bunch of super fit people on Instagram and they make you feel bad about yourself, unfollow those people. There's no need to be putting that in front of yourself all the time if it makes you feel bad about yourself or if it triggers that urge to compare.
Yeah. Also, I think creating boundaries, the no phones at dinner, limit doom scrolling. I mean, that's the thing. Notice when you're getting down into something, and if what you're doing is not only a time suck, because most of the time it is, but it's also a lot of negatives. It's not making you feel better. I think you should and definitely put the phone away over your dinner, unless you're expecting an emergency call or something. Put it away.
Yep. I'm going to reiterate that, and I'm going to challenge every single person listening to this to make that a rule. If you are out at dinner with someone, even if you're home at your own house at dinner with someone, put your phone away for that time. Someone said to me, and I can't even remember who said this, but the person in front of you should be the most important person. And I really like that idea. And sometimes I'll even say that. Like Joe and I were going somewhere the other day and she said, "Oh, did you get your phone?" And I said, "I didn't. The only person that's important to me right now is the person I'm going to be in the car with. And that's you. I didn't need my phone." And so it feels good to be on the receiving end of that too, to know that someone's not glancing side eye at their phone to see if anybody's texting them. They're really present with you and listening. So every single person listening to this, put your phone away at least during meals, at least during dinner. Don't have it on the table. Don't be checking it. Don't look at your smartwatch. Just be present with the person you're with.
Yep. I've recently started also just from the social media standpoint and using my phone as a distraction. And I've just generally been, if I go somewhere where I'm having to wait, even if I'm just by myself, let's say to a doctor's office or you're going somewhere, we always just pick that up and look at it immediately. And I've been trying to not do that as much, maybe even take my Kindle with me and read a little bit if I know I'm going to have to wait. Or what I read might be on my phone, but it's hopefully something like The Atlantic or reading something that is positive for me. And then sometimes just sitting there noticing what the heck's going on around you.
Yeah. I mean, that's what a concept. There's a term for that makes me laugh every time I see it. It's called raw dogging. So they're talking about people raw dogging on sites, like going for a whole flight without their phone. And I saw a meme about that when we were in school. We were just raw dogging it through the whole day.
Yeah.
Didn't have a cell phone one in the building.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, give yourself a minute to raw dog it. What's around you?
I think that used to mean something else, but
I think it might have. But anyway, I like the term, and it makes me laugh every time. The other thing is, when you are on social media, try to reframe things for yourself. So try to get in the place where you're celebrating others' happiness instead of comparing and making it about you. or you're generally, genuinely happy for someone because they got a new car or because they got a new partner or because their partner gave them a cake, instead of feeling sad that you don't have those things. Like, just let yourself be genuinely happy for other people.
Yeah, I had a great experience the other day with a caller, Monique, but she was at a music festival that I have on my bucket list, and I saw the picture she posted, and I just loved it. And immediately it made me text her because I was like, tell me what it was like. I want to get the full experience, and I was so excited to just hear about it.
Yeah. Instead of being jealous or feeling like a loser because you weren't at the music festival. Yeah. So I think that's a perfect way to look at it. And if you focus inward on being grateful, like really let yourself check in to see what you have going well in your life and be grateful for that. Invest in your own relationships instead of comparing those with other people.
Yeah. Now, social media is a thing. So thinking about healthy ways to use it. Using it for inspiration, not measurement.
Yeah, like you said, don't use it as a tool for comparison. Use it to be aspirational. Inspire yourself to do things that you really want to do. And the other thing I would say is just sharing those authentic moments, not the curated ones where you look perfect, but some of my favorite people that I follow online are people who don't look perfect. When people look perfect on their social media, they're not that interesting, to be honest. And so try sharing things that are more authentic instead of filtered and curated.
Like that one I shared on social media when I was in Pagosa Springs in the hammock reading my book.
Yes, that was perfect.
Yeah. If you could have seen me up close, you'd realize that I probably hadn't washed my hair in about 3 days and had a hat on.
Awesome. See, that's a great example of that. And I think that when you are posting, post pictures that highlight your connection with your partner or your connection with your community, not something that's performative. Don't just do something where you're trying to get likes. Do something that's actually highlighting something that's important to you.
Yeah. I like it. Well, so what about our takeaways for our audience?
Yep, let's wrap this up. So the main thing that we really want you guys to get here is that the grass is not greener on the other side. It is just filtered. So try not to believe that everyone's life is better than yours because of what you're seeing on Instagram.
Right. And that what you're seeing is one tiny little speck of their life. You're not seeing, it's a small part of the big picture.
Yep. And we've talked about this before, but true connection with other humans happens offline. It does not happen in a feed. And your brain is constantly looking for those 3D real-time interactions. And it's never going to be fully satisfied from what you see on social media. It's a void that you can literally never fill by looking at more social media. So go outside, connect with other humans, have a conversation with someone. Do those things that actually bring you real satisfaction, not this kind of saccharine satisfaction that you think you might get from, looking at one more hour of social media.
Yep. And no matter what AI is telling you, there is not going to be a replacement for us and our humanness and how we respond to one another and the ability to actually come in contact physically with another human being. So less time on social media is probably the biggest thing that we talk about, that probably a big undercurrent in most of our discussions is that getting face-to-face with people, being with people, doing things with people, paying attention, being curious and invested in another human being in a real room.
Yep, absolutely. Yep. And overall, this is just my tip for everyone at all times, is just limit your consumption of social media. Give yourself a certain amount of time that you're willing to waste every day. And I would say 30 minutes tops. Like, cut yourself off. You don't need more time than that. Yep. So let's talk about points for discussion. If you are part of a couple or not, if you are single and you want to talk more about this topic, here are a few things that we want to encourage you to do. Number one, Audit your social media feed as you're looking at it. Pay attention to it and notice how it's impacting your love life. Is it making you feel great about your relationship? Is it making you feel crappy? Is it making you feel good about being single or being partnered? You want to look for ways that it's making you feel better, not worse. So just notice whether your feed's a positive or negative in your life. And the other thing is talk about how you can curate authenticity in your relationship or relationships if you have friendships that you're doing this for. And once you've really focused on the authenticity piece, then you can decide what to share on your social media.
Those are great tips. Well, do we have a topic for next week, or are we still pondering that?
We are still pondering that, so you'll be pleasantly surprised, I'm sure, when you tune in next week. But in the meantime, we do want to hear your thoughts about how social media is impacting you, how it's impacting your relationships. So DM us on Instagram. We are at Dateable AF. Our email is info@dateableaf.com. So please stay in touch with us. We really, really love hearing from you guys. That is one of the highlights of our week. So keep those comments and emails coming. As always, we want to thank you for listening to the Dateable AF podcast, where we help you find your happy ending.
And remember, be bold, be kind, and for the love of queer dating, don't text your ex. Stay dateable.
AF.